Hey, good morning, everybody. It is Thursday, May 11th. My name is Alan. I want to welcome you to my Spiritual Growth Through Recovery podcast. Purpose of these videos is to grow my spirituality by following the AA program of recovery. I am not a expert in AA or spirituality or recovery. I'm just sharing my experiences. I try to stay sober, living life on life's terms. The recipe we follow here is we read the daily reading out of the AA Daily Reflections book. There's a link in the description if you'd like to follow along. And then I'll just share my take on the reading and any other topic that is going on with me. So we'll get busy. Today's topic is going to be a new sense of belonging and the idea of loneliness. To be honest, I've been dragging my feet in this topic almost all week. I've been afraid to do this one because I've been experiencing a lot of loneliness in my life, and it makes me really sad. I was actually going to not do this one. In fact, I made Friday's video before this one, and in fact, I'm late today because I am afraid to face this one, but I'm going to anyway, because that's the whole idea of being vulnerable. So here we go. All right, so May 11th. New sense of belonging. Until we had talked with complete candor of our conflicts and had listened to someone else do the same thing, we still didn't belong. 12 Steps and 12 Traditions, page 57. After 4 years in AA, I was able to discover the freedom from the burden of buried emotions that had caused me so much pain. With the help of AA and extra counseling, the pain was released and I felt a complete sense of belonging and peace. I also felt a joy and a love of God that I had never experienced before. I am in awe of the power of step 5. So, sense of belonging. And the whole idea here is sharing with another and having that common struggle, common solution that the big book talks about. And so, kind of what I took from here, but by sharing our vulnerability and honesty, it kind of makes us all at the same level. We're not, feel like we're down here or we're up here. And so that's kind of what that does for me. It demonstrates we're all in the same boat. We're all just trying to get better and not, be, I guess, held captive by, alcohol, drugs, addictions, that kind of thing. It talks about, the freedom from the burden of buried emotions that caused me so much pain. I still feel like I'm dealing with that. This loneliness thing is really makes me sad. It's it's a hard thing for me. But I want to be free of that, so I need to share it. Right? I need to share that stuff to be free from it. Because ultimately, our secrets keep us sick, and I can stuff this down and keep it, but it will manifest itself in some way in my life if I don't deal with it. So for me, the keys of freedom are connection. Need to feel connected to some other people. And I'm not sure where it starts, if the alcohol, if the loneliness leads to the addiction, which then brings back to the loneliness and isolation, or it's the other way around. But it's through that connection that can be free of those things. So, and it ultimately comes down to the actions. I need to be willing to take the action suggested in the program of AA. So, anyway, that's what I got from the reading. Then I kind of want to get into the idea of loneliness, and then really, next week's I'm kind of diving into this emotional neglect trauma that feels like it's kind of haunting me, and I've really never dug into before. So this kind of led into this one I'm going to talk about next week, and it's really heavy, but we're going to push through it, and whatever this looks like. All right. So I guess what is loneliness? Some definitions are the sadness because no one has friends or any company, the feeling we get when our need for social contact or relationships not met. It's not feeling connected. And Brené Brown really talks about the importance of lack of connection. And that really relates to me. If I'm not feeling connected to people, then I'll kind of push people away and kind of get isolated because there's almost a fear of that. Well, I'm just going to get let down anyway, so just, but then that just makes it worse. And another definition is emotional distress we feel when our inherent needs for intimacy are not met. So, I've been definitely feeling that. And when I feel that way, if I just drink or use drugs, shuts that down. But I'm just kicking the can down the road ultimately. So where does it come from? We can feel that way from living alone. We just have lack of close friends or family. Death of a loved one can make us feel that way. Ultimately, lack of connection in some form. It can start from, ultimately I think some of this stuff can happen when we're younger. We don't know what's going on in reality and people treat us a certain way. Well, I'm not worth loving, I'm not lovable, so I'm just going to kind of not, reach out to people. And I think drug and alcohol addiction can definitely makes me feel that way. and then mental health conditions like depression. And ultimately, I'm not sure how important it is to know where it comes from, but some of the symptoms of loneliness would be feelings of emptiness or sadness, insecurities, anxiety, feelings of worthlessness, feelings of self-doubt or self-worth, a lot of self-criticism, which I'm very, very aware of that. I do that a lot. Some other ones would be like decreased energy, sleeping problems. I can go through waves where I'm so upset, so impacted by this that I can't sleep. Withdrawal from social situations. I bail on a lot of things, social opportunities, and I sometimes feel difficult connecting with people other than other addicts, people in recovery, that kind of thing. So, so what happens if we don't face this loneliness? Statistics show premature death, heart problems, dementia and mental issues. For me, more it's mood and mental health, depression. I'm starting to kind of feel that a little bit. And I think that's, again, so the alcohol can cause the loneliness, but the loneliness can lead back to alcohol and drug use. Well, I don't have any other way to cope with this, so I'm just going to shut it down. So how do we overcome this? So for me, at some point, I got to sit in my feelings, acknowledge what's going on. Typically what I'll do when it comes, I push it away, I numb it somehow so I don't have to deal with it. So I need to sit in it and then write down with my thoughts and feelings. And that does seem to help. I need to make better use of my time. What do I do with my actions? Am I staying isolated, or am I really making attempts to reach out? Not every time I reach out, it's going to play out, but I got to keep trying. I need to say yes to life. When people ask me to do things, I need to say yes, and then I need to follow through. I'll say yes and then find some reason to bail. All right. Support groups help. Prioritizing self-care obviously helps, and then therapy really helps. I have a really good counselor, and that seems to help. So just like anything else, I can either, now that I'm aware that I have this issue, I can either do something about it, or I can shut it down. But it's going to come back, it's going to come back, it's going to come back. So anyway, that's kind of what I got for today. I'm not really sure what I'm going to talk about next week, because this emotional neglect stuff is hitting me pretty hard. But whatever. I'm going to walk through it. I'm going to push through it, and whatever this looks like. So, anyways, I want to encourage you to, if you ever experience any kind of loneliness or sense of belonging or lacking connection, reach out to some people. Say yes to more opportunities, and really ultimately feel what you need to feel. Write it down, and I think it makes it easier to cope with. So, anyway, there'll be another video tomorrow, and the weekend comes. So until then, peace out.